think
All right,
missed one.
welcome to my video. You hear I have a lot of background. It's like herding cats trying to get this video done. So, Ken Smith, KenSmithFishing.com. I got a lot of questions on through emails and also comments asking about equipment on rattle traps. It's called a rattle trap. So, in the grand scheme of rattle trap fishing, and I think across the country, if you rank rattle trap fishermen 1 to 10, I'm a 9. But if you rank me on Rayburn amongst really good rattle trap fishermen, I'm maybe a 4 or 5. So, is that fair? 4 or 5 maybe?
Okay.
All right. So I wanted to get 2 guys that are really good rattle trap fishermen in here. So I've got Ricky Guy. Come here, Ricky. So Ricky won the 16 Costa here? 15.
It's 2 years ago.
2 years ago. All right. So 16. And Dicky Newberry, who has won before Costa. Yeah, suck your belly in. Come here. Before Costa, it was called Strin. You won. I know you won 1 here.
Yeah, that was an 8.
Okay, so in 08. So now, when everybody sees your video, they see you catching them flipping the last day, right? So there's a good video of Ricky, catches fish flipping. But tell us about your first day.
First day come on a rattle trap.
Right.
Wheeled in one little pocket and caught 3-4 pounders, like 5 casts.
Happens to me all the time.
Went another pocket and caught a couple more, another 3 pounders. Then I went another little drain, first cast in there, caught 8.
That helps.
And that's pretty much the first day.
And the 8 was on the trap too.
8 was on the trap.
Okay.
Everything the first day was on the trap.
All right. And then second day, did you catch trap fish?
Caught a couple trap fish, but I had to go flipping.
But you kind of settled down once you had your trap fish to know you could go flipping and finish off your limit, right?
I felt pretty confident
Okay.
there, yeah.
All right.
I was
So
able to save the flipping fish.
right, first day especially.
And the second day, the trap fish really, they kind of got off of it.
Okay.
Had a little cold front that turned them on for a day or so, then they kind of got off of it that second day of tournament.
I can't remember. Was the water rising or was it steady then?
It was probably steady.
Okay. But it was hot.
It was hot.
Yeah, we were in the bushes.
Yeah, it was hot.
It was 166 or 67. Okay. Hold on, guys. Excuse me. All right. Dick, tell us about when you won in 08.
First 3, and that was a 4-day event.
You're right.
And first 3 days, I caught all fish on the rattle trap.
Okay.
Right.
And so, one of the things, I wanted to have Chris Jones here with us tonight, but he's probably still practicing in the rain. By the way, we all look like wet rats because we all fished the Texas team trail today in the pouring rain. But both of you guys have real specific equipment that you like to use when you throw a rattle trap, and it's different than probably guys across the country think it would be, right? So tell me about the rods you like to use.
I like throwing a Falcon heavy, Amstead 7'3". That's what I like to throw a trap on. And it's way stiffer than most people like.
All right.
But I mean, I can tear it through the grass. I don't have to worry about the flex and waste a cast. I mean, I can normally clean it by tearing it through the grass.
Same thing?
Well, see, I'm a little shorter armed than Ricky. Ricky, I'm not near as tall as him, so I use 7'6", and I use a very stiff rod. Matter of fact, I use my Carolina rig rod mainly to throw my rattle trap.
So you use the loose Carolina rig rod, that is the Carolina rig rod. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a Mag 3 bass rod.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's one that's a big cranking rod, but it's a real stiff rod. It's got a lot of backbone, parabolic bend to it, and it will rip out of the grass. I mean, when to fish a trout effectively, you got to get it down in the grass, or it's got to be clipping it. And if you use an old cranking rod, glass rod, like we used to use on big crankbaits, or the way a lot of guys still use, it hangs up, and you can't pop it free of that grass. And,
right.
And 50% of your bites are right when you pop it out of that grass, and that rattle trap comes up and it flutters. Well, that's when they usually grab it. So it's real important. You get a lot more cast if you use a stiffer rod. I mean, I use 7'3" jig rods, grass rods. Matter of fact, when I won the Costa, I was using my jig rods at that time, and I found out that this 7'6" will do basically the same thing. And
it's lighter.
Yeah, it's lighter, and I get better casts. I mean, I can throw all you know, the line off the
Yeah.
reel.
Like I said, before we turned the camera on, you were talking about you can literally throw the line off a reel.
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so your reels you're using,
Loose.
okay?
You know, and I like a high speed where I can control it, 7 to 2.
Okay.
I don't like the slow reel. I'd rather adjust myself. And you know, I believe Dicky, he's probably in the same boat there.
Yeah, I use the 6.8 to 1s, and matter of fact, all my trap rods and reels, I set them up all the same to start a tournament with. And it's usually my basics is a 15-pound fluorocarbon.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I start off with a 15-pound fluorocarbon. All my rods and all my reels, same gear ratio, and that way then I can adjust to whatever I need to. I can finesse the bait better. You know, if you pick up one reel and it's a 5 to 1, I mean you can't control it when
You
you're
can't
using
make that
it.
same cadence.
No, and I promise you that is very, very important on the rattle trap.
So I've actually seen where you will break a rattle trap or break a bait off, or you'll get a bad spot in your line. You're done with that rod, right?
Yeah, you know, and a perfect example in Acosta here about 3 or 4 years ago, I hit a group of fish and I was catching them almost every cast. And I was sitting there, I was making a long cast and running across this little gut that had some grass in it, and I was clipping the tops of it. And I was catching 3.5 pounders and just catching them one after another. And then I made a long cast and a loop popped up and it nicked my line. So I pulled off that line and it changed my, you know, the diameter of my spool, which changed the speed of the retrieve. And I never got another bite. I had to switch back over to one of my other reels that had a full spool, and then I started getting bit again. I mean, it's that critical.
Right.
You know, it's very critical.
Agree?
I agree with that. I mean, you know, sometimes I use different line sizes
Right.
to change.
I heard you say you use 20 sometime.
Yeah, I mean, I will use 20 if you need to trap higher in the water column, and if they're really aggressive, I use 20.
You do?
Yeah,
What were you throwing today?
I went both ways, 15 and 20.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do you throw a half or a 3/4 on one or the other, or kind of all the way across the board?
I throw normally a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I will throw a 3/4 sometime, but I mean, if I can get away with it, I'm gonna throw the half.
Really? How come?
I can feel the half really well, and I seem to be able to control the contact of the grass better than I do with that 3/4.
You know, that's the thing. So I really learned my trap fishing with you, and the tendency we all have, and I know young fishermen because I've had a couple where I've captained some high schoolers, is they throw it out there and they don't want it to hit the grass because they don't want to do that fighting. This is a fight. I mean, you're beat at the end of a trap day.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're not, you're not throwing trap right. Now, I'm not saying you can't get in some aggressive fish and just reel it back and catch them. I mean, that's
the fun days, yeah.
That's the fun days. But when it really gets tough and you're fishing on one of those bluebird days when the fish are not biting, you've got to make them bite, and you've got to get in that grass and pop it further.
Okay. Do you change your hooks?
Yes,
You do. What kind of hooks do you throw on?
I normally use triple grip.
Okay. And you're not a huge triple grip fan.
Well, this is a secret, and I can't say this.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I know this. I knew the answer to this question, so.
Well, you know, you fish with me. You know how many fish I catch that are stuck in the tail, stuck in the face, in the sides. And the triple grip, there's not a better hook if they're putting their mouth around it. And
They bite it, right.
If they're biting it, I mean, the hooks that Rattle Trap puts on their baits, you can't get a better.
Right.
But when they come up and start slapping it and they're not taking it, I mean, I'll go to a round bend Gimagatsu or an owner stinger.
So you actually will put that on the front and leave the triple grip on the back a lot, right?
Sometimes I do that. That's correct.
Okay.
Because usually if they're slapping at it and you're sticking them, it's usually on that front hook that you stick them. You know, that's because there we're getting around to the stiff rod advantage. That front hook is in line with your hook, with your tie. So there's not as much give. The tail hook has got an angle on it. When they slap it gives.
Huh. Never thought about that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And another thing I do when they get kind of slapping at it, like Dicky's talking about, I do, what I do with the triple grip at that time, I open them up a little
Do
bit.
you really?
Yes, I cheat it and I open them up.
And you catch some fish side of the face, back.
Yes, I mean, I don't think I catch them near the quality he does,
Right.
but I do catch a few that way.
He often will say, I felt him smelling it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he smelt it and I'll catch him in it. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Or his whiskers get up there close to it and I can feel them.
So, yeah. So if you're going trap fishing tomorrow, how many traps will be on the front deck?
2, 3 tops.
So you don't put a lot of colors out?
No.
Okay. Do you have standard colors every year, or does that kind of rotate year to year based on?
I pretty much use the same colors every year. There's about 3 colors.
What are your favorite 3?
Probably I throw a bleeding shad, throw a red shad, and I throw some type of orange colored crawfish type.
Do you throw knockers at all?
I will throw them occasionally, and I prefer not to.
Really?
I mean, I have more luck without the knockers.
Just a regular old trap. You?
Uh,
I've seen you with 7, 8, 9 traps on the
Yeah.
front deck.
I kind of, it's more mental than it is anything else when I'm fishing. Once I get bit, and then I see that the hooks are inside the mouth and how deep they are in the mouth, then I determine if that's the color they like or if that's the presentation they like. I mean, all the stuff, you got to be thinking about this all the time. Every bite you get, you got to study. You got to study where it was in the grass, if it was on the outside, if it was back in, if it was in thick grass, did he take it all the way in, inhale it. Now, all this stuff that comes into play.
Interesting. And you will throw a knocker.
Oh yeah, I'll throw a knocker. And there's days when they'll bite a knocker better than they will a rattle. I don't know what days that is.
Right.
But I use them. I have them all up there. I mean, I'll start off with 4 or 5 different traps tied on, and I'll just go through that day, and it'll change from morning to evening. What they bit in the morning, they won't bite in the evening.
Right.
So you got to be versatile. You got to change. You got to experiment with it.
So you've both had a lot of guys on the back deck with you. What mistake do you see guys make trap fishing? Is it equipment? Is it cadence? Is it?
I see a lot of times equipment for one. 2, they're trying to do the same thing, same side, trying to copy what you're doing on used water. Think outside the box, Look where I'm painting, fish a different spot,
Yeah, I've been front-ended before. I know what you're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, that's what's going to happen. So if you try a little different angle or a different spot, sometimes you get a reaction. You catch them sometimes better.
Right. Yeah, a lot.
Hey, there ain't nothing worse than the guy on the back of the deck putting in 4 and 5 pounders, and you getting 1.5 pound, 2 pounders. I mean, it'll mess you up quick.
Absolutely. The little guys on your shoulder start talking.
You ain't lying. It happens.
You? What do you see guys? What mistakes do you see guys making?
A lot of times it's equipment. It's usually equipment more than it is anything else. I mean, I try to have extra rattle traps, and I'll give them traps. If I'm really catching them good,
And you like them.
I'll let them use. And if he's a nice guy, I'll give him exactly what I'm throwing. And it doesn't.
I've never made that group, huh?
No, he's never loaned me. No, don't throw that one. They won't bite that one.
But the thing about it is, you got to cover water with it, and you got the main thing on traps. You got to really pay attention to what it took to get that bite. Right.
All right, sorry, we had a battery die. So, I don't know if you just heard Ricky's comment, but tell me how your back feels at the end of the day, and you know you fished a trap right?
If you know you fish a trap right, you'd like to go home, land on the floor, and let someone just stand right in the middle of the back of and the shoulder blades, and it feels so good. If you don't feel like that, I don't know if you give it your all.
Well, the key to it, you got to be in good shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
What about you? Would you like someone standing in your right?
nah, I'm okay.
Yes.
Your problem is you got them big long arms and too tall.
Well, that's a shame.
By the way, we're going to work out when we're done here?
Yes.
Get our eat? Okay, good. Maybe run a little bit? Let's go run a few miles.
No, that's you're using your legs.
Yeah. All right, and so you said you have a good analogy about rods.
Yeah. It was really, I got to use the stiff rods, and it was practice day. It was the Sunday before the 08 tournament that I won here the Coaster that I won. And I was out and something happened. It was practice day, a Sunday afternoon. Bluebird fish wasn't biting. It was a bad day. And I picked up a red shad rattle trap, which we used to call Raven Red. And I had an old jig rod there that had some 17-pound fluorocarbon. So for some reason I cut it off time of the trap hole and fired it down this trap line, or down this grass line, and it hung up, and I popped it, and it popped free. I mean, it's great, and it's 6-pounder gravity. So I pulled him in, went around the corner, caught a 4-pounder. And then went on down a ways, I caught a 5, and then I caught another 6, and I caught a 9-pounder. I mean, that was a heck of a day there that afternoon in practice. So I said, all right, we got to figure it out now. And it didn't exactly work out like that in the tournament. But I did, catch. They were all caught on that same rod because of the action of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of those fish that were sticking in the tail and sticking in the face and stuff like that. If you come walking down through the woods and there's a vine hanging there with a big old thorn, and you rub up against it with your arm, sometimes it'll stick you, but most of the time that vine has too much gill. It's kind of like a limber rod. You have it, if it pops up against it, it just rolls off. But you take that same thorn and stick it out of a door or out of a wall and rush up against it. See how far it sticks you in the arm. Same way. Well, that stiff rod with fluorocarbon line, when they come up there and they slap it, if it gills to them, it's not going to stick them. But if it's got stiff rod and they slap it, they're stuck. And that's another big advantage. Not only does it pop free of the grass a lot easier, but them fish, when they slap it, they're stuck. So that has a lot to do
Where
with it.
most fishermen struggle with it is it feels good, the bait feels good, they can cast it good. And a little flex to the rod makes it easier to cast, less work, less effort. And initially that's what you look for when you first start. But then after you get dialed in and realize, man, you fish a little while, every other cast, you got grass on, you can't clean it off coming back. That's when you realize that stiff rod, how valuable it is.
One thing y'all hadn't talked about that I'm a real big believer is, I've measured it. I'm gonna throw a trap sometimes 70 yards. And even though I'm throwing fluorocarbon, I want to put some hook out. And when I pull on with big heavy 7.3, 7.6 rod, I'm gonna put more hook in them. They're gonna be hooked better. I mean, that's just the bottom line to it. And gosh, I hope I don't jinx myself this week in Coastal saying this, but I lose way, way, way less fish since I've gone to a heavy rod than I did when I was using a lighter weight rod.
Right.
Now, a lot of that's fluorocarbon line.
Yeah, you ain't got the stretch.
But a lot of it's that heavier rod too. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right. Thanks, guys. That's what I wanted to get to. Guys, if y'all have more questions, let us know. I talk to these guys all the time. Just put it down in the comments below or email me and we'll get them up, or we'll talk to them again. We're down here all the time and we'll do another video. So thanks for your time, guys. Appreciate it. Good luck this week in Coastal.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
You too. Thanks.
Money, yeah,
What
here you
about
go.
money?
Look, brother.
They're gonna kick my butt, I know it.